So as I said to you guys, we are testing this 31,000 level, Eventually, I do think this 31,000 level is going to be broken, because if we test it again and again and again, eventually we are going to break it. And as I said, we are now at a 13-month high on Bitcoin. And I mean, I think if we break this, the next level is going to be 37,400. Now, to me, when I look at these levels, let me just make this screen a bit bigger. When I look at these levels, I call this push-up the Larry Fink push-up. And the reason why I think it's the Larry Fink push-up is because he yesterday was on Fox News, and you need to hear what he said about Bitcoin.
More accessible. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country or the...
So he's talking... So here you have the biggest, you have the godfather of Wall Street, the godfather of institutions, the godfather of all institutional funds. And what is he saying? He's saying that Bitcoin is liquid gold. And if you know anything about BlackRock, what you'll know is that BlackRock were actually the creators of the first gold ETF, or the biggest gold ETF. And they were responsible for taking the gold market cap from 3.5 trillion to where the gold market cap is today, which is currently at about almost $13 trillion. Now, when the godfather of institutions does this, when the godfather of institutions tells us that he believes that Bitcoin is digital gold, and a whole lot of other things that he said yesterday on the interview, we've got to pay attention. And that is why I think that what's going to happen is we're going to eventually break this 31,000 level that we're accumulating, and we're going to go up to the next level. I also want to look at some hidden messages in what he said yesterday about Ethereum, because there was a lot of hidden messages about Ethereum and maybe some of the other altcoins that we've been looking at. And actually, look, speaking of altcoins, let's maybe go and check the altcoins out on the bubbles. It is a greener day. Now, you guys are going to laugh at me, but so yesterday I took the short on BCH. I was short 1,000 tokens on BCH. I'm still short. I did sell out of 666 of them. I'm still holding a small position. So I took that $100,000 profit, and now that $100,000 profit, I'm in I cashed out the 100,000, and I've got a small loss. So I'm trading against a small loss. Maybe we'll decide later on in the show to exit this thing together. Also, I've got a lot of alpha for you on altcoins. I'm going to speak to you about a lot of altcoins that I think are breaking out. I've got some more methodologies. I also want to talk to you about yesterday's show, because we've got a lot of hate after yesterday's show. A lot of hate from a lot of communities. So we've got a lot to do here. Let's go. Go. All right, wakey, rise and shine. If you are here, we haven't done roll call for a while, so let's go. Let's say present. Teddy, I see you here. Say present. Gabby, if you're here, say present. Eat healthy. You only live once. Say present. Scott Davies, say present. Ferdy. James.
Yeah.
Josh.
Present.
All right, Chaos, I see you here. You're present. Let's get this show on the road. Lots of alpha for you guys today. First of all, yesterday, I think, was a fantastic show. I personally think it was a fantastic show. The metrics on YouTube also tell us it was a very, very, very good show. You can see from a views point of view, one of our stronger shows that we've had. But I must say, we got quite a bit of hate yesterday. And I knew when I made the show that I'd get quite a bit of hate, because it was one of those shows where we had to be honest with each other. Where, it was about, look, we're going to have this, we're in this raging bull market. It's not going to be the same bull market as all the other bull markets. But the important thing is that we looked in the mirror and we used the methodology and the spreadsheet, and we actually re-examined our coins. Now, how many of you actually did that? How many of you actually went home and actually asked the 6 questions and actually made changes to your portfolio? Let's do a poll. Josh, let's do a poll that does that. And let's quickly understand where everybody is. I just want to laugh. I just want to show you some of the funny comments that I see here in the comments here. So first comment here is, Run, we're in an institutional bull run thesis. Also, I just sold most of my bags. Yes, that is exactly what I said. I said, we're in an institutional bull run. And if we are in an institutional bull run, that means that you've got to sort out your portfolio accordingly. Someone here says, I'm doing the opposite of what Ran says. Now I'm in profit. I'd love to see his bags. Yesterday he says it was the last chance to buy. Now it's the last chance to sell. Exactly. Last chance to buy good and last chance to sell bad. Look, it's true. Not all viewers have high IQ, but unfortunately, we're not going to reduce the alpha in the show and the IQ and the intellect of the show to suit everyone. So unfortunately, for some people, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. A lot of them were from the Cardano communities. I'm not sure why they like that. Speaking of Cardano, I actually saw Solana is breaking out of this very, very, very long-term trend. So I'm watching it and I'm looking to potentially add some to my bags. We'll talk about that later in the show. All right, let's go. If you're not already subscribed, how many subscribers have we got now? Let's quickly look at how many we've got now. I think it's 639,000, right? Let's see. Let's see how many subscribers there are. Hold on. You guys are not concentrating, guys. You're not concentrating. Let us go to our channel and let us look at the number of subscribers. Let's look at the number of subscribers over here. And let's go to the analytics. Okay, and you see okay, so we're on 639,083 subscribers. We need to break that. We can only break that if you guys help us break that. So let's go. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Let's get that to 640,000 subscribers, and then let's go to the moon from there. All right, let's start. Let's go into the alpha of the show today. As I said to you, when it comes to Bitcoin specifically, look, we were breaking up against that 31,000 level. We've started to come down a little bit in the post-Larry Fink hangover. But as I said, I'm still in the thesis that we're in this raging bull market. When you look at the S&P 500, now just, the S&P 500 is a very broad strokes index in the United States. It's got 500 stocks in it. That's up 17% this year. So it's not up as much as the NASDAQ is this year. But there is a very interesting statistic around the S&P 500. And that statistic is that we've gone for 28 straight days without a 1% drop in the S&P 500. Now, usually in bull markets, you get the markets going up and up and up, and the markets struggle to come down. No matter what news happens, the markets struggle to come down. Now, that seems like it's a lot, but it's actually not a lot, because if you compare how many days we've gone without a 1% drop compared to other raging bull markets, we still have a long way to go. So this is a bull market. It's a raging bull market, but it's by no means an overheated bull market at all. It's by no means an overheated bull market. I do want to caution you, however, that I do see a slight pullback in the market happening pretty soon. Slight, maybe slightly more than 1%. That's it. I still think the uptrend is going to continue. The reason why I say that is because I'm looking at the inflation data. And I think that what's going to happen here is a combination of macro factors. The combination of macro factors is you had the June inflation at 3.22, and the Cleveland Fed is now forecasting the July inflation to be 3.61%. So you're going to get an acceleration in inflation, both on core CPI and on CPI. So we're going to get inflation going up. Those inflation numbers happen, I think, around the 12th of July. And then we've got the FOMC meeting on the 25th and 26th. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to get slightly higher inflation numbers. I think the market is going to go, inflation's going up again, cool down a bit. You got the FOMC meeting happening on the 25th and 26th of July. And as I said to you yesterday, I think I've now conceded that there's probably going to be one more rate hike. And that's going to take us up to the peak rate hikes of this year. Another reason why I think that that's going to happen is because the employment data came out just before we started the show. And what you can see is that the US is adding jobs very, very, very fast. So even though rates are going up and they're trying to slow down the economy, and remember what the Fed is trying to do, the Fed is trying to manage employment and inflation. So it's trying to bring down inflation by increasing interest rates to slow down the economy. And that is supposed to slow down the rate of employment. The problem is that the economy, and specifically the employment figures, are so strong. The employment market is so strong that they're just not managing to get the numbers down. So that is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get a slight pullback when we get the interest rate, the inflation data. And as I said, the reason why I think that's going to happen is because the market's going to go, oh, inflation's back again. Oh, let's do that. But ultimately, as I said, I think looking at the market in quarters or in months and just like saying, oh, there's inflation this month and there wasn't inflation last month, that is not the type of market that we're in. We're in a much longer, much stronger bull market. As I said, there will be headwinds. Yesterday, we also got the Fed minutes. And in the Fed minutes, we learned a few things. We learned about the fact that most of the Fed officials wanted to slow rates. There were a couple that actually wanted to increase them by 25 basis points. A lot of them are talking about a recession. A lot of them were talking about recession. But as I said, I think the market's already seen right through the recession. So if you look at the notes, the word recession was used 3 times. In May, it was used twice. In March, it was used 3 times. In February, it was used 4 times. So I think that a lot of them are maybe expecting a recession. There's a good reason not to worry about the recession. I'll tell you what the reason is not to worry about the recession. The reason is that if you look at when the search peak for recessions happened, it was somewhere around middle of December. And if you look at the NASDAQ, somewhere around the middle of December, which is about here, that was pretty much the high of the NASDAQ. So it's like this word recession has already been priced in from a long time ago. The market's already seen this recession. I think the market's going to follow a different cycle. And the cycle that the market, I think, is going to follow is this presidential cycle. Remember, next year is a election year. And if you look at the cycle of returns on presidential years, it does follow a certain pattern. So you get this kind of pattern, and we obviously this line over here. And you can see that in presidential years, if we follow this trend, we're going to continue with this bull run. So as I've been saying to you guys for a while, we are in this bull run. You can choose to look for reasons why we're not in the bull run, but we are in the bull run, and a lot of people are looking to dampen this bull run. That's the problem with bull runs, because you have so much PTSD from the bear market, that what you do is you just can't believe that we're back in a bull market. And we are back in a bull market. There's no doubt about it. No matter which way I look at it, we are back in a bull market. This is the bull market. This is all the asset classes in the bull market. And I know to Bitcoin holders, maybe 82.3% returns is not like, wow, raging bull markets for crypto holders. But guys, in the first 6 months of this year, year to date, Bitcoin is the best performing asset class. And it's not just that you're looking at this best performing asset class and saying, we're the best performing asset class because Larry Fink put in an application for a Bitcoin ETF. No, it's not that. If you look at the bull market before the Bitcoin ETF, the Bitcoin ETF was filed on the 15th of June. So Bitcoin was at 25,583 on the 15th of June. And if you look at where we had come from, that was still a 33% return, but Bitcoin had been at about $30,000 before that. So we are in a bull market. We are leading the bull market. Crypto is leading the bull market as an asset class. We are ahead of everybody else. And inside crypto, it's not only Bitcoin that is actually beating every other asset class. In fact, Bitcoin has an 84% year-to-date return. Ethereum has a 59% year-to-date return. And then there's a breakdown of all the different platforms, all the different sectors of altcoins that are performing. Is it the currencies, is it the asset management tokens, the DEXs, etc., etc.? We're going to dig into this later in the show because this is going to show us how to position ourselves for altcoins. But what I wanted to show you is that we are very much in the bull run. The first part of the bull run was driven by retail. I'll show you how I know that. The next part of the bull run is being driven by institutions. And I'll show you how I know that too. I look at this chart over here. And this chart over here shows me the Bitcoin held by funds over time. And if you look at the Bitcoin held by funds over time, in March, they dumped because they move like the wind, because they're not very smart. Then they started to buy again. And then if you look at the 15th of June, which is over there, this is the date that Larry Fink filed his ETF. There we go. Look what happened since Larry Fink filed his ETF. The most powerful man in finance worldwide, the most powerful man in Wall Street worldwide, now the new spokesperson for Bitcoin, has now made the announcement over here. And since then, look at what the funds have started to do, and look how the funds have started to accumulate Bitcoin. Look at the rate of accumulation on Bitcoin. Now, good news for us, we front ran them because we were buying over here. And now they've come to the party, and they've come to the party. They've arrived late. They've come to Larry Fink's party because, you can't really be in finance and not be following what BlackRock are doing, because they are like the tail that wags the dog. They are the US government money. And that's why yesterday I was watching Larry Fink on Fox yesterday. And I know a lot of crypto channels covered this. I know a lot of crypto channels spoke about all the things that Larry Fink said, but I think that there's a lot of hidden stuff in what Larry Fink said that we need to dig into, because I think what happened yesterday was a huge feat for crypto. And I'm going to show you why. Let's quickly just go through here. He started off, I think, being extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Polite. He was polite. Everyone knows that he is more powerful than Gary Gensler. Everyone knows that Gary Gensler is like a little puppet to BlackRock. This is what he said about working with Gary Gensler. I mean, this is effectively what he said.
ETFs that you float getting accepted.
Well, we try to do what's right for the long-term investor, and I think we have a good track record working with our regulators and trying to making sure we're thinking about all the issues around any filing. And so I can't get into the specifics of this filing, but I think the chart speaks quite well. We work really closely with our regulators, and we want to hear from the regulators what are their issues and how can we fix those issues around that. So we hope that, like in the past, we could be working with our regulators and get the filing approved one day. And I have no idea what that one day will be, but and so we'll see how that all plays out. Specifically on Bitcoin, as I've said in the.
So you see, he says he's been quite like, he's like, look, we're working with the regulators. No, you're not. Come on, everybody knows that you tell the regulators what they need to do, and he's being very polite about it. So that was like a good warm up. Then he started to become the BlackRock, the Bitcoin marketing director. This is the part where he starts becoming the crypto and Bitcoin marketing director.
In the past, we're a believer in digitization of products. ETFs was a big revolution for the mutual fund industry, and it's really taking over the mutual fund industry.
So remember that this is the company that effectively, I'm not going to say that invented the ETF, but this is the company that invented the distribution of the ETF. And they say that the ETF was the biggest revolution in finance.
And we do believe that if we can create more tokenization of assets and securities, and that's what Bitcoin is, it could revolutionize again finance. And so we look at this as an opportunity to move one step further in terms of providing investors fractions of shares, fractions of this, democratizing the cost of investing. Over the last 10 years, we've lowered the cost of iShares ETFs by 30%. So what we're trying to do is make it more accessible, more easy. The attempt in terms of what we're trying to do with...
He's talking about a lot of things here. He's saying that this is the company that really invented the marketing of the ETF. And they created the ETFs to make investing more easy, more accessible, and more cheap. And they're saying that the next revolution of that is actually the tokenization of assets. Now, he used the word Bitcoin. He said Bitcoin is that. But I think he's referring to crypto. And unless he believes that all assets are going to be tokenized on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is a possibility, especially now with ordinals and everything else. I think what he's talking about here is he's talking about the tokenization of assets. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to land up moving down to ETH. Now, you may remember, if you've been here for long enough, you will remember that Larry Fink was actually a big Bitcoin skeptic. Like everyone else, he started off being a Bitcoin skeptic. I actually want to show you a quick article here. Let me find this article. So he called Bitcoin an index of money laundering. That's what he called Bitcoin in 2017. He called Bitcoin an index of money laundering. Now, how does a guy who called Bitcoin an index of money laundering actually change his tune and now start talking like this about
Kind of skeptical.
Yeah, I was
weren't you?
skeptical because the early users it was heavily used for, let's say, illicit activities. And I think as it became more accessible, and also I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear, Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency. And so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
Right, but hasn't the
So he talks about a few things. The first thing is he said that Bitcoin is digital gold. Now that's a narrative that we've been in the crypto market have been pushing for a long time, because we know that Bitcoin is actually gold 2.0. And at some point, people are going to look at gold and say, why do I need to hold gold if Bitcoin has all the qualities of gold, but is actually better than gold, right? And now when the biggest money manager in the world, the godfather of institutional investing, a multi-billionaire who heads up BlackRock, when he says Bitcoin is gold, when he says Bitcoin is an international asset, and then when I look at the market cap of gold and I say, okay, well, look, you got Bitcoin 12.75 trillion, gold at 12.75 trillion, and then you've got Bitcoin all the way at under $1 trillion, $599,000. If the biggest money manager in the world is starting to compare them, then it's only fair that we actually start doing some real calculations. And so I did a small calculation on the same website, and I said, if Bitcoin had the same market cap of gold, and by the way, I do think that Bitcoin will have a bigger market cap than gold. The reason why I think Bitcoin will have a bigger market cap than gold is because Bitcoin is more transportable, it's more divisible, it's more useful. Gold can't be used as money. Bitcoin can be used as money and as a store of value. Also, I think that by the time that Bitcoin has the same market cap as gold, gold will the US dollar would have had so much inflation that the US dollar would have deflated. And so I think that when I look at the number and I look at $650,000, if gold was if Bitcoin had the same market cap as gold, I actually see this being much bigger. So I'm not, as I said, not one for clickbait tiles anymore, but that's just if you do a very simple mathematical calculation and say the biggest money manager in the world is now calling Bitcoin digital gold. He's saying it's an international asset. He's basically telling people that he was a skeptic and that now for him, Bitcoin is international digital gold and it represents hope. He used the word hope. And you know where else I've heard the word hope being mentioned around Bitcoin? It's with this guy over here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Bitcoin is hope. We could
Remember, Michael Saylor, he's always been the one to say that Bitcoin is hope. Now, I think something's going on here. I think that somewhere in the background, Michael Saylor and BlackRock are actually working together. So I think there's something going on here. I mean, work with me here. First of all, when I look at MicroStrategy's cap table, so let me just quickly find MicroStrategy's cap table. Here's MicroStrategy's cap table. The fourth biggest holder of MicroStrategy is actually BlackRock. BlackRock own 6% of MicroStrategy inside their funds, okay? Both of them started off being skeptics. Michael Saylor started off being a huge skeptic. In fact, I must have that tweet somewhere where he says, yeah, Bitcoin's days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling. And today, Michael Saylor is one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world. You've got $4.76 billion worth of Bitcoin. And actually, for the first time in a long time, Michael Saylor is actually at a profit, believe it or not. So they're actually only now starting to be at a profit. Larry Fink, same thing. He called it the index of money laundering. He was against it all. And now he is calling it hope. He's calling it the future of finance. He's calling it an international institutional asset. So I think there are a lot of similarities between them. And I think there are a lot of similarities between them and us, because I think first they're going to go into Bitcoin. Then they're going to go into Ethereum. And there's a good reason why I think they're going to go into Ethereum. One is he talks about the tokenization of assets. That's one of the reasons why I think they're going to go into Ethereum. But also, I think what's going to happen is a lot of the institutions are going to come into Bitcoin. They're going to create this institutional FOMO into Bitcoin, because as they come in, the price is going to go up. As the price goes up, other funds are going to look at them and go, well, we didn't hold Bitcoin. They got better returns than us. We should try and get Bitcoin into our portfolios. And then what's going to happen is they're going to get Bitcoin's going to fly, and then they're going to look and go, okay, hold on a second. Well, what is the next Bitcoin? And just like we all went, well, let's go to Ethereum, and then went into altcoins, I think that's exactly what's going to happen with the institutions. That cycle ain't going to change. That cycle ain't going to change. So it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then some other altcoins. And I'll show you where I think they're going to get some other altcoins. Because I think what's going to happen is when they start moving into Ethereum, they're going to realize, hold on a second, Ethereum is broken. Ethereum doesn't really work. It does work, but the problem is that every time that we launch a meme coin, it stalls the whole network. So now there's VMPX. And what is it doing? It's pushing the gas prices up. And not only is it pushing the transaction fees up, but it's pushing the deflationary nature of Ethereum up. And then what the institutions are going to realize is, hold on a second, Bitcoin is inflationary slightly, Ethereum is deflationary. Maybe we should have a dab at this Ethereum thing. And then they're going to realize that the gas fees keep going up. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, hold on a second, maybe we should go into layer 2s. Maybe we should be investing in layer 2s. And maybe if we're not investing in layer 2s, maybe we should be investing in Solana, because, or whatever other blockchain is moving. For me, as I say, I'm now looking at Solana because of the fundamentals, and now I've got this long-term trend breaking. So if this long-term trend breaks, I'm increasing my Solana position here. Let's see what else there is. There's a lot of stuff about altcoins. We should probably go into altcoins. So altcoins, we have Celsius dumping altcoins. Remember that Celsius held a whole lot of altcoins, and now they've been given permission by the court to sell those altcoins. So they are starting to hit the market. Everyone's panicking about Celsius going to dump all the altcoins. Banter fam, I'm telling you guys not to panic. Do not panic about the Celsius altcoins. And when I'm telling you not to panic, I'm telling you not to panic because I've done the maths and because I've got the info. And I'm going to show you why I don't think you need to panic at all about Celsius selling their altcoins. The first thing is you need to remember who is now in charge of Celsius, or who's now running this whole operation. It's run by Mike Arrington and his consortium. Michael Arrington is one of the smartest people in crypto. He's also one of the nicest people in crypto. He's not someone that's going to go and screw crypto holders. He's a very responsible guy. And they are the ones who are now in control of Celsius, I believe, right? Also, we made a spreadsheet of the holdings of all the altcoins that they have. They have $285 million worth of altcoins, including a whole lot of cell tokens. Let's ignore the cell tokens because we don't really need. Take away 100 million here. Take away $100 million here. It's 185 million. What are their biggest holdings? Matic, Cardano, Link, Litecoin, BCH. And then you go down to, like $600,000 of stuff like that. But then you compare that to the total value traded in a day. And so if you look at on Cardano, they've got $29 million worth of Cardano, but every day over 206 million of Cardano is traded on spot exchanges. So if they do this over like a couple of days, like 10 days, 12 days, 20, who cares? If they do that, then all of a sudden you realize that this selling actually isn't going to affect the market. So when it comes to this Celsius thing, There's going to be a whole lot of noise around Twitter about it. Ignore the noise around Twitter. It's not going to hit the market. It's bullshit. It's not going to hit the market. When it does, you're not even going to feel it. I want to talk about this for a little bit. So you obviously saw that Zuck is launching his competitor to Twitter. It's called Threads. I don't know if you guys saw this, but let's quickly look at it.
The people who've tried it out so far, the reactions have been
Hold on, let's start again.
really great. And I am looking forward to the fun journey.
You see, his products are unusable.
Big news today. We are launching Threads, an open and friendly public space for conversations. It takes the best parts of the Instagram experience and creates a whole new app around text, ideas, and sharing what's on your mind. You just sign up with your Instagram account, you have your followers already there, and you can just get into it and get started. And it is available on the App Store now. The people who've tried it out so far, the reactions have been really great. And I am looking forward to the fun journey ahead to turn this into the kind of big and friendly community that I think we all want to see in the world. All right.
So I don't know how you feel about Zuck launching a product. So I've got a couple of thoughts. Let's maybe talk about some of my thoughts about it. The first thing is Facebook, Meta, whatever they call themselves these days, don't know how to build products. They built Facebook. They had to acquire WhatsApp. They had to acquire Instagram. They tried to build a metaverse product and they fell on their faces. They're not really a builders of products. Although the fact that they're launching it through Instagram might actually be a little bit of a game changer. And what I read is that they have already got, hold on, let's just find this. I did see it earlier today. They have got 10 million users in 7 hours without Threads being available in Europe. So just in the US, they've got 10 million users in 7 hours. The big thing for me, though, is why they will never beat Elon is because I think that specifically for us, we moved away from these centralized, government-censored platforms. That is why I back Twitter. And I think I back this. It's the guy says, Twitter has no competition. Twitter favors free speech. Meta favors censorship. Twitter is transparent and open source. Meta is not. Twitter respects privacy. Meta sells your privacy. Twitter has memes, and Meta is a meme. And speaking of memes, guess who's bullish on Threads and not bullish on Twitter?
I don't think they thought of Twitter. But in that I am being facetious, but I say game, set, match Zuckerberg, because he's really learned his lesson. He really understands that it does matter, that you want to be committed to the community. And Facebook is Instagram is a really terrific product. And Twitter is awful. And my kids were saying, like, why are you posting on Twitter? I said, well, it's free. I said, well, that's just great. The worst things in life are free.
Does that mean you're going to migrate? Are you going to move your content 100%. Delivery to Threads?
I'll put some Twitter in.
This is a guy who says he doesn't. This is a guy who says he doesn't enjoy Twitter, right? This is just. I just want to show you something. This is a guy who says he doesn't really enjoy Twitter. Let's quickly just look at Jim Cramer's account on Twitter. Guy says doesn't enjoy Twitter, right? 3 hours ago, yesterday, guy tweets and tweets and tweets. Tells us he doesn't enjoy Twitter. I mean, come on. I think he just doesn't enjoy Twitter because he gets a lot of hate on Twitter, and I don't think he gets any hate on Instagram. And I think that's what's happening. Should we go into altcoins? Let's talk about altcoins. A lot of people gave us hate yesterday for this model, this spreadsheet that we made. How many of you actually used it? I'm actually very keen to understand who used it. But actually, let's quickly look at the altcoins. Let's quickly just refresh where we're at. Mainly red-ish. BCH is up. I see my position is. I'm going to trade out. I'm going to trade out of this position at some point. I was getting greedy there. I really was getting greedy there. Injective's having a great time. They've got all the fundamentals and they're growing like crazy. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Injective growth. I think I had a chart here. Look, this is the Injective active wallet holders. So just have a look at how much Injective is growing. This is one that I'm definitely looking at, spending a lot of time on Injective. I'm a big holder of Injective, as you know. Stargate also I'm looking at because it is, from a usage point of view, more people are using Stargate than I think most of the other dexes. So for me, again, looking at Stargate, Stargate also hasn't started really moving. It's still at about 60 cents, so it hasn't really started moving. I did see this regarding my BCH position. So if you look at BCH returns, it's the Koreans. Every time the Koreans get up, every time the Asians wake up, they're pumping BCH. When it's the States, it goes down. When it's like the US and Europe, it goes down. But you want to know where the pumps are coming in. The pumps are coming in from the Koreans. So maybe I must just go to sleep, sell before I go to sleep. Last night when I went to bed, my position was up. I was up like $20,000 in that position. Woke up this morning, I was like, what? Koreans woke up before me, I guess. That was the big problem. I'm also following this DEX narrative. I'm following this DEX narrative, and I'm starting to see that the DEXs are actually making money. So GMX, in terms of what they're doing in terms of fees, start looking at protocols that are actually making money, because that's what we spoke about yesterday. GNS, another one. So that's one of our sponsors, as you know, GNS. If I look at the GNS metrics, so I start looking at the GNS metrics here, one, they are starting to generate a lot more money in fees. When I look at the GNS metrics, and again, they are one of our sponsors, you know that. But if you look at their users, you look at their trade volume, you look at their total trade fees, all the metrics are actually going in the right direction. So this is another one that I'm a bag holder of, and one that I'm buying more of, to be honest. OpenX, this is not you're not going to win a popularity contest, but they've launched the OUSD, which is basically you put in your claims that you've got against the crypto insolvent businesses, or the claims against the crypto businesses, and you get the new currency, which is called OUSD. And that OUSD allows you to trade using your claims as collateral, which is, I think, very, very, very smart. Lastly, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. So this is our sponsor, World Mobile Token. What they are is they are a world mobile network that is actually built on blockchain. And what they're doing is they're starting to do a buyback program of a token. So they've introduced a token buyback program as a key component to deliver its vision of sustainable sharing economy. The buyback program will see World Mobile's treasury purchase WMT tokens from the open market using the revenue generated following the launch of the commercial services. So they're going to start buying back their tokens, and they believe that this is going to enhance the value of a token and everything else. We did interview Mickey from World Mobile Token on our Twitter Spaces, and what these guys are doing is absolutely fantastic. I will actually post a link to that Spaces below so that you guys can listen to what these guys are doing, because it's quite a long segment. But effectively, they're creating mobile phone networks using blockchain, and people are actually starting to make money out of this in places like Africa and stuff like that. So it's absolutely incredible. Let's just check the newsroom, because I see that there are lots of messages in the newsroom. Is there anything that's breaking? Nothing's breaking except Meta. No, nothing's breaking. All right, listen, I'm going to see you guys again tomorrow. We've got a banter for you guys tomorrow, a big banter for you guys tomorrow. We're talking about, we've got 2 ETF experts and 1 macro expert here tomorrow. We've got Eric, we've got Alex Kruger, and I think his name is James. I think that's his name. And they're all they're ETF analysts. So those guys will be coming on tomorrow. We'll be talking about BlackRock. We'll be talking about the ETF. We'll be talking about whether they think that it's going to get approved. These guys are the best people in the world to tell us if it's going to get approved or not. So I will see you guys again in 12 minutes on the Twitter Spaces, and then I will see you guys again tomorrow on the banter. Until then, trade well, my friends.